You know, this is not like, it's actually not a poor man's food. But you know what it is? It's a smart man's food. You know exactly where the protein came from. You know exactly what you did or did not feed them. And you know what I like best about it? You're in control. All right, welcome back to the homestead. It's been a while. I want to introduce ourselves. We are the Manti Homestead. So most people will know us from our unique, very unique, large off-grid greenhouse. It's been viewed on social media almost 2 million times on different channels, which is kind of crazy, actually. But today we're not talking about the greenhouse. We're not talking about the chickens. We are actually talking about our meat rabbit colony. So some of you maybe don't have any interest whatsoever in rabbits, let alone meat rabbits. But as we're discussing the pros and the cons of our colony, and also as I share with you our unique design with our insulated coolers, there's going to be some principles throughout about why you should be about preparations. Your preparations might not look like mine. It might not be a greenhouse or backyard chickens or rabbits or milk goats and mini Jersey milk cows. So it might be none of that. And really, it shouldn't be like, hey, come follow me. No, everyone is unique. We are a large family. We have 9 kids. We live in a small rural place. And this is how we prep. But the point here is, are you prepping? Because of certain elections or certain swings in the economy, you may find yourself maybe more or less motivated to make preparations. And I would argue that that is the wrong approach. My goal and my message to you is that you need to be about preparations at all times in small and simple and consistent ways. And you're supposed to get your own inspiration from somewhere else. I might be able to motivate you a little bit, but as far as what you're supposed to do, you need to figure that out and get some help doing that, right? But just because you find yourself maybe in good circumstances doesn't mean that you let off the gas, baby. I would argue there's more going on right now than, even 2 years ago. But there's a sense for people to fall asleep. So today we're going to go learn the pros and cons of a rabbit colony, but we're going to be talking about preparation along the way. And by the way, some of my more watched videos are not about the greenhouse. They're about my rabbit colony. So I guess I'm the rabbit guy. Here we go. All right, so first off, the way we have our homestead set up, obviously we got the big glaring greenhouse, but we also have backyard chickens. And then this originally was set up to be a hog run. Pigs are amongst my favorite of all preps. But after we decided that we weren't gonna do pigs, at least take a break from them, we converted this into a rabbit colony. And I had done rabbits before and it was a good experience. And so we decided that we were going to bring the rabbits back to our homestead. And this is what it looks like. Let's go inside and I'll show you how I built this thing. All right, first of all, take a look at all of them. They breed like bunnies, baby. So the one thing that we did is I did not like the rabbit setup we had before where they're all up in their cages. It just seemed like they got too hot. It just didn't seem like they were happy. And commercial growers are almost always going to have their rabbits in cages. And there's benefits of that. There's a lot of benefits to it. So I'm going to explain a little bit of that, but I'm going to tell you why we chose to have a colony. So one of the main things I love about my rabbits, you guys, is I'm the guy that has a 100-foot greenhouse. And I'm telling you that this compost, also known as rabbit poop, is absolutely phenomenal. If you like gardening and you can get yourself access to constant rabbit compost, you're going to understand why it's such a good thing. And so we are amending that 100-foot greenhouse with this beautiful green soil all the time. So honestly, I would probably have these rabbits for that one item alone. Okay, now the second thing is the ratio of the amount of food you put into a rabbit versus the amount of protein you can get back from them. It's one of the best of all animals. Now, I am not going to nerd out on details and statistics on this video. I'm just going to tell you, as a prepper, I love the idea that I can have a backyard supply of protein. Now, for some of you, it's just like, that's so gross that you eat rabbits. Well, you know what? It's gross that you eat at Chick-fil-A, okay? You've just got to get over that mindset, because I'm telling you, we chose New Zealand rabbits because they actually taste really good. It does taste like chicken. I know everything tastes like chicken. Snake tastes like chicken. Chicken tastes like chicken, and rabbits taste like chicken. No, these meat rabbits do taste like a really good chicken. And I've had other meat rabbits. I've had champagne meat rabbits, and I personally don't like that. To me, a champagne meat rabbit tastes like pork chops. And my sensibilities, I'm like, I didn't like that personally. Now tell me, if you're a rabbit kind of guy, put in the comments the different varieties that you have done, why you like them and don't like them. And those of you who are looking at rabbit colonies can go read the comments and learn from other people besides me. So the one thing that we liked about the rabbit colony, instead of having them up in the heat, we actually have 2 spare bucks. And we do have them up in the heat. But the one thing that is, if a male rabbit, a buck, gets too hot, he actually goes sterile. And so having the breeding buck down here, which our buck is amongst the 7 mamas. So we have 7 moms down here and 1 buck constantly breeding. The rest of these are babies, and they're actually time to go find the meat truck. And so he's down here constantly in an environment where he can stay a little bit cooler. He's in the shade, and he has access to our insulated coolers just like the moms do. More on that later, because we have given these moms many different places where they can go and nest and have their babies. So we have boxes up here and we have boxes in the back. So I'll share a little bit more about that. But I like the idea of trying to simulate a natural colony environment. So the first time we did that, we did not have any wire on the floor. And it was good and it was bad. Because of that, they would burrow naturally into the dirt. But we found that they were burrowing and sometimes it was collapsing. And so we started losing a little bit of babies because of that. So what I did is I got a heavy galvanized wire mesh and I put on the bottom of the rabbit run, and it was just directly on the bottom. And it was just so that they couldn't dig past the wire into native dirt, because I wanted to control a little bit about not having the colony collapse. Now, because of that, I'm like, well, I want burrows, but I wanted control. So what I did, just scared him. So what I did is I grabbed some of this 6-inch corrugated tubing, and this is something you would find, like at Home Depot, you're gonna have probably 4-inch. I use 6-inch. So you might need to go to like a plumbing supply store. By the way, if you live around Manti, I've got some of this I can sell you. I'll just sell it to you for market, because you won't want a 20-foot stick. You need like maybe a 4-foot stick if you're going to make insulated coolers, which is what I'm going to go show you right now. So first of all, if you're around Manti and you want some meat rabbits, I've got a bunch for sale. And I'd rather sell them right now than for breeding pairs, rather than sell them to the meat truck, or rather than harvesting them, because my boy is coming home off his mission in just 2 weeks and I am busy. That's why I haven't done as many videos lately. So that's another benefit, is that with these meat rabbits, you can sell the excess meat to a meat truck. The meat goes to like very high-end restaurants and cruise lines out in California. You know, this is not like, it's actually not a poor man's food. But you know what it is? It's a smart man's food. You know exactly where the protein came from. You know exactly what you did or did not feed them. And you know what I like best about it? You're in control. So you can have a little bit more of the power of working by the sweat of thy brow and growing your own food in your own backyard. Now, we have mini Jersey milk cows, and I have a steer, a Jersey steer that I'm, growing out in my yard for meat. And that's great. I mean, we're a large family, so we can eat a full beef in a year. We eat, basically the equivalent of 2 in a year. So that's all fine and good. But in an emergency situation, if you went and killed, an animal that's anywhere from 1,000 to 1,500 pounds, you've got to either be really hungry and or give it up to your community and all eat it together before it spoils, or have a way to harvest it. Not so with a meat rabbit. You've got at 3 months, these little buggers are going to be about 6 pounds, about the size of that guy right there. That is a perfect size. When they're about that 5 or 6 pounds, that's when I personally like to harvest them. And for a large family like me, maybe 2 of those at a time. And I like to just immediately go and you do the butchery and you skin them out, prepare the meat, and then you have fresh meat. And so in a survival situation, I mean, that is going to be, something you don't have to worry about preservation. You just come out here when you're in need. So I like that. I like that a lot. Okay, so those are the pros and the cons. Actually, I haven't got into too many cons because I'm first going to show you our insulated coolers. Because I did not want to have them burrowing naturally, I put the wire on the ground, and I have too much compost here. I can't show you the wire. Just trust me, there's wire. It's not chicken wire, it's a little bit heavier gauge. Just something that won't rust and that they can't get through the ground. And so I wanted to simulate the natural nesting environment that they would get when they were digging. And so what I did is I got these are just the containers that a tree, like a number 20 tree, fruit tree would come in. And I turned them upside down and I made a hole. Now on the inside, I've got one of those 6-inch corrugated tubes leading outside of my rabbit colony into an insulated cooler. It's a unique design. I just figured it out myself. There might be some variations of it, but because I wanted the rabbits to have cooler weather in the summer and warmer weather in the winter, I took some of the principles from our greenhouse where I'm putting the coolers down into the ground to try to tap into that constant Mother Nature temperature. And coolers are naturally insulated. And I'm like, hey, that is an instant and very easy to make nest box. All that I did was get that 6-inch corrugated tube, trace it on an old, I don't even know, is that a 20-gallon cooler? Just the normal size cheap cooler. The cheaper the better. Go to a yard sale and buy you a cooler. And then I got a Sawzall and I just cut out a hole and I shoved the 6-inch corrugated tube into it. So if I lift this up, then you're going to get to my insulated coolers. Okay, so we happen to have 5 of these insulated coolers. And then if you look in here, you can see the corrugated pipe come from inside the rabbit colony, underneath it. You can see the wire. See that wire? That's the wire I have on the bottom. And then it goes right into the cooler. I just cut a hole, shoved it through. I didn't even put a grabber screw through there. It was tight enough with the corrugations. I just shoved it in, and there you have an insulated cooler. So I love this because I can come outside and I can check for babies. I just checked. I don't have babies right now. In filming this, we're in August, and the baby production slows down for sure in the summer. But there's times where we'll have babies in all 5 coolers. And sometimes we have babies on the outside as well. So I give them multiple opportunities, multiple places, multiple locations. But being able to check and to kind of control a little bit more of their environment has been very beneficial. And I strongly recommend the insulated cooler idea. So I want to talk to you a little bit about the cons of having a rabbit colony as opposed to just having them in cages while we go inside the famous greenhouse. Look at this. Those are limes. These look like limes. They're actually lemons. Figs. See the figs, baby? Where's my cat? There we go. We got figs. We got bananas. Oh, and so exciting. I can't see because, sorry, I got cut off. What is so exciting is that we are going to have dragon fruit, baby. Dragon fruit in Utah. Oh, yeah. So that's why, this is not a greenhouse video. We're coming in here to talk about the cons of a rabbit colony as opposed to like rabbit cages. So most of your commercial growers, that's passion fruit. Most of your commercial growers are going to be in cages because a cage setup has a lot more control. You can take the doe over to your buck in cages, literally watch them breed. Sorry, that's a little gross. And then you can separate them and then set your calendar for 30 days and you know there's going to be babies. And then the good thing is that if they don't have babies, you try it again, and if there's something wrong with your mom, you know. Or if she has babies and the mom's not a good mom, you know. And you can have that control and you can gain more efficiency that way. So there is no doubt that that is a great method. And so I'm not going to be preaching to you that my way is superior. For me, I love the colony. And I told you the benefits as to why. But if you're doing it commercially, the people that do it in cages, they do it for a very specific reason. So if you are one of those people, put in the comments why you like to do it in a cage. We can be different, but those watching this video, maybe their setup isn't like mine, and maybe a cage system is going to be better for them. So that's one of the major benefits of the cage, for sure. So when I have the different 7 breeding moms in my colony, and I have issues with a collapsed colony, so a colony of babies that are born and no mom takes care of them, then I am a little bit too busy sometimes to tell which mom is the problem or what is going on in the colony. So you lose a little bit of control in the colony, even though you gain some efficiencies with cooler temperatures, a more natural habitat, so on and so forth. So there's trade-offs. Now you can combat some of those issues that I've experienced by being more organized than I am. We actually do have our rabbits' ears tattooed. And so, you can keep track if you wanted to. But again, the reason we have it in colonies is we're a little too busy and we need things to be a little bit more natural and a little less high maintenance, as it were. So there's those issues. My rabbits from time to time do get mites in their ears, and it's nasty. One little drop of the drug, which must not be named, Ivor, and the last part, Mectin, one little drop in the ear and it's gone. And so if you buy like a big old vial of that from your local farm supply store, it'll last you forever. And it is a miracle. It's like a drop and within a couple of days it's gone. So I do have to worry about that from time to time. I do not know the comparison of mites with a cage rabbit setup or a colony setup. I don't know the difference. I just know I have had that issue from time to time and I just deal with it. It's pretty easy. Another drawback of the colony is, you saw how many rabbits I have right now? Well, they're getting big fast enough that pretty soon here, and if you guys don't come and buy some rabbits from me, then I am going to not be able to tell the babies or the fryers from the moms very easily. And so unless I check their ears, that's what that was about. And what do you think? Do I got good looking ears? Just kidding. So if I don't do that in time, then I could potentially be breeding the new fryers. And also, if I don't get them out in time, I might have more than one buck in the colony. I've done that a couple of times now, where I thought I had all the bucks either sold or sent to the slaughter. And we actually had a couple of bucks in with the regular buck, because I only have one buck, unless I mess up. And when you have multiple bucks, it becomes Wild West, and all of a sudden, none of the moms are good moms. They just have their babies and they stomp them out, don't take care of them because they're under distress. Too many bucks trying to breed, chaos. So there's some negatives, especially if you are as busy and distracted as I am. Okay, there's some highlights and lowlights of rabbit colonies. Again, the point here is you should not let off of preparations just because things may or may not be going your way. I think there's a ton of things on the horizon of which we better be aware. Most of my videos, I'm just harping about them. I get a little political, I'm sorry. At the end of the day, we're all in this together and we all should prep, because then we are going to be prepared and we're not going to be fearful. We're actually going to do something about all of the chaos that is in this world as we bring some of that power back into our own hands and into our own homesteads. All right, see you next video.